Today we are going to the fifth lesson, the summit within. What do you mean by summit? The highest peak or the zenith of anything. That means not more than anything. Nothing is over it. That is the last highest point. The zenith of it. Understood? So here the mountain climbing, that means the Mount Everest, and the person who reaches on top of the Mount Everest, when looking down, he is saying it is a commune, it is a union with the God. The person who reaches on the highest peak and standing on the top of it and saying that he is able to see the God. Why? Suppose you think that we are climbing a mountain. So it is not a easy way. Suppose a small hill also. You think about the hill and the small areas which are higher from the ground level. You think many of your homes are there only in those hilly areas. Isn't it? That means a little bit higher from the ground level. Isn't it? And going up, maybe in a steep way or maybe little crooked, curved. So anyway it can be. So think that a person from the ground level climbing to a certain height, how do he feel? Suppose you think your friend who was standing or you and your friend is staying a little bit higher than the ground level, a little higher area, and his house is seen on the top of a little hill, and you have to reach there, isn't it? You are only standing on the roadside. Now you think you are reaching on top of the house where your friend is staying. How do you feel? So we cannot just walk easily. We cannot just put our feet easily as we walk on a straight road, isn't it? Much hard strength, power should be there in order to climb that much height, isn't it? In order to climb that much height. So how much in between you may feel tired, you may feel that you are not able to breathe. If it is an old person, he feels a difficulty for breathing also. Only the area can be little bit higher. Still, the suffocation starts, isn't it? So that much dangerous position is there in order to reach that height, isn't it? When we think that it is not very high than any mountain peak. Now come back and think about the Mount Everest, the highest peak, at the same time covered with ice and snow, and going on top of it, climbing on such a high peak, how do we feel? Many obstacles, many hurdles may come on our way, isn't it? We have to overcome all that. And once you start climbing such a highest peak, can we stop in the middle and come down? It is impossible, isn't it? Once if you had started, you have to go high. In between, many may lose their life itself. Breathing problem is there. As higher and higher we go, we are not able to breathe. We have to carry the oxygen cylinders with us, isn't it? That all we have to get prepared. Still, we can see in their climbing, many of them had lost their lives, isn't it? Because not able to. Because once we had started, we are not able to come down or we are not able to go up. In such a critical situation, if we reaches, the only result is our death, isn't it? So here, Major HPS Agrawala. He is the mountain climber who is describing the expedition, what he had made and how he had reached on top of Mount Everest. We are coming to the lesson. Major HPS Agrawala was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest. In the year 1965. Indian. 1965. How did he feel? His feeling. Understood? Throughout the lesson we can see what was the feeling he had when going for climbing and why he had climbed, and after climbing done. The feeling, the emotion, whether it is mental or physical or spiritual. So what we will see according to his words. How did he feel when he stood on the highest point in the world? So here we have seen which summit, isn't it? The highest point. So the feelings what Major had in his mind when he had started for the expedition, as well as when he had overcome it. Let us hear his story in his words. It is his own words. Climbing the summit and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. And it is not an easy task. It is not an easy task means work. It is not an easy work to do it, isn't it? Many obstacles, many hardships are there. We should have all that to face. And if we are not able to having that willpower, what will happen? We will not be in success, isn't it? There only what is happening to the people are losing their life. Of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, when he is standing on the highest point, these are the things that had come in his mind. Looking over miles of panorama below us. Panorama means the wide range of view. Wide range of view. Panorama, wide range of view. So standing on the top, the highest point, and then looking around, how it looks, how the earth is being seen, like one small matchbox, isn't it? Because it is the highest. The dominant one, I think, was humility. So when standing there, first, what did he feel? The humility. Humility, the humbleness. That is the great thing a man should have, humbleness. Standing on that much height, he did not feel proud, or he did not feel that I am the great. Instead, he felt that humble, that he was able to cover it. That is the humbleness in him. What is humbleness? He was able to climb such a great distance and reach on the top. That is the humbleness. Understood? The physical in me seemed to say, thank God it is all over. So mentally as well as physically. Physically is our body, mentally our soul, isn't it? So physically I have reached. Oh God, I inside my mind, my soul is saying, I am very humble to conquer it. Humble to conquer it. However, instead of being jubilant, there was jubilant means very happy. There was a tinge of sadness. So instead of being very happy, I felt a little sad also. Understood? Why happy? Because I had achieved something, the great height I had achieved. I was able to achieve that much height, isn't it? And I have reached on the top. So I felt happy. But at the same time, Major felt sad also. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads therefore would lead me? That means, why did he feel sad? Because he had achieved something great. At the same time, he felt sad also. Why? Thinking that there is nothing. Because he is standing on the top and all around him seems to have only a small place when compared to that higher area. Understood? By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. That happiness as well as thanking God that you had achieved a great. It is a joy which lasts a life till the end of your life. That happiness remains in you. The experience changes you completely. So climbing a mountain, that experience changes a person. That experience changes a person. Totally he will be another man. Totally after climbing and achieving the great, he is different when compared to others. Is understood? That means he will be totally changed. The man who had been to the mountain is never the same again. So before climbing he was another man, and after climbing he is totally changed. So certain lessons he had studied from there. Understood? As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. The summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone, physically the tiredness. Exhaustion, tiredness. So once after climbing, physically my body is relaxed. Physically my body is relaxed. The tiredness had gone. I began asking myself the question, why I had climbed Everest. So I myself is asking the question, why did you choose to climb Everest? Why did the act of reaching the summit had such a hold on my imagination? So why I had imagined that I will conquer Mount Everest. It was already a thing of the past. That means already I have achieved it. Something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become more water. But still, even though it had been in my past, what I had achieved, that means already it has gone. But still, till the end of my life, it will be rewinding and making me remember it. And then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? So still, the Major is saying that after some time, will it go out of my mind? Never. It will never go out of the mind. Understood now? All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. So, the question can arise, why people are climbing mountains? The simplest answer would be, others have said, because it is there, because that mountain is there, we are willing to climb it. Is that the only answer? No. There should be what? Preparations. As you prepare an examination, certain preparations also should be there. within you to climb that mountain and achieve their success, isn't it? Simply one morning can you go and start climbing? So that you cannot. You have to think about it over and over for many days and make it into a confirmation how I have to do it, isn't it? Man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. Obstacles means difficulties. Obstacles, difficulties. So, man are interested to overcome difficulties. Those people who are adventurous, they think about only how they can move forward. They forget about the difficulties what are coming on the way. So, if you are able to face all the difficulties which is on your way, then only you can achieve your success. When a difficulty is in front of you and if you are not able to face it, what will happen? You have to withdraw from it. You are not able to overcome it. Once when you are able to overcome it, then you can lead to success. Understood? That is why it is having that saying that confidence, full confidence should be there. The obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. Physically also we should have that stamina to make our body move to face those obstacles, isn't it? Not only mentally, physically also. Physically also our body should be fit enough. If you are weak and you are going to climb a mountain, what happens? Starting itself you have to suffer, isn't it? And you will not reach to any part. But if your body is strong enough, that power is there in your body, the strength, stamina is there in your body. What you can do? You may achieve it, isn't it? A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence and willpower. These are the three powers you should have. Which are they? Which are they? Endurance, persistence and willpower. To endure, that having that confidence that I will do it, persistence to withstand and the willpower to face any obstacles. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt acceleration as it was for me also. So these are the three qualities these mountaineers should have. If you lack any one of this, you are not supposed to be a mountain climber. Understood? I have a more personal answer to your question. So according to Major, he is saying, these are the facts a mountaineer should have, but according to Major, he is having certain reason for that. From my childhood, I have been attracted by mountaineer. Means when he was a child itself, he was so much attracted of mountain climbing. I had been miserably lost when away from mountains in the plains. So when he had gone for higher studies, he had to settle in the plain areas, plain valleys. That time he had lost part of his life. Happiness. What happiness? That mountain areas. Mountains are nature at the best. It is the nature's best things on the earth. Mountains. Their beauty and majesty, the power. Majesty is the power. Pose a great challenge, and like many, I believe that mountains are the means of reunion with the God. So everybody all of us are not able to climb a mountain without thinking, isn't it? So it is a challenge to take that adventure towards a mountain. And once you are able to climb, then you are, and it is said it is a reunion. God. That means on the way there may be many difficulties. Also each climb, when you take each foot up, you are calling whom? You are calling nobody else. You are not calling any of your friends or your parents or anybody. Whom are you calling? You are directly calling whom? Only God. Why? To give you that power to make your body move from one point to the next point, isn't it? So, same time, how many times you are calling in the name of God till you reach at the top. So, that much it is there in you. That is why he said that it is a reunion with the God. We are not calling anybody, isn't it? After every step, we are calling whom only? God only. To make you move further. Once having granted this, the question remains, why Everest then? Are there not any other mountains? Why did you choose Everest? Because it is the highest, mightiest, and it defined many previous items. Because it is the highest, in the height it is the highest, and it is the mightiest. Mightiest means that strength. It takes the last ounce of one's energy. That means all our energy loses till we reach on the top. Everything gets exhausted. Everything gets tired. It is a brutal struggle with the rock and ice. It is full of rock and ice. Once taken up, once we have started, it cannot be given up halfway even when one's life is at stake. So once if we had started our journey in that highest, mightiest rock and ice covered mountain, we cannot stop in between after climbing a little bit. And if you think that you are not able to go further, you are not able to come down also. That is the problem. You are not able to come down. There you have to give your life. Understood? The passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards. So, it is equally difficult going up as well as coming down. And then when the summit is climbed, once you had completed, there is the exhilaration, the joy of having done something. That means there you feel the emotional feeling that you had covered up the whole height. That you yourself don't know how you had come to the top, because in between maybe 1,000 and 1,000 times you had called whom? God. The sense of a battle fought and a win. After a long struggle, you had got the result of that. You had succeeded. There is a feeling of victory and of happiness. So that victory, that winning power as well as the happiness of achievement, both are there. Glimpsing a peak in the distance, I get transported to another world. I experience a change within myself, which can only be called a mystical. So it is something mystical or spiritual means spiritual. So it is not our physical or mental power, it is of spiritual power. That is why it is said, when starting itself, whom are we calling? We are calling to support whom? God. We are not asking our parents to come after us, or we are not asking our friends to come after us. We are asking whom only the help? God. That is why it is said it is not of physically or mental power, it is of spiritual power. So when these three, physical, mental and spiritual, comes together, we are able to achieve in that battle. But this beauty, aloofness, standing alone, might, that how much big it is, rigidness and the difficulties, and how much difficulties it is facing, how firm it is, encountered on the way, the peaks drawn me to it. So, facing all these difficulties, I am able to reach on the summit. As I was saying, it is a challenge that is difficult to resist. So, nobody can say how much difficulty you had taken to overcome it. that I had not yet fully explained why I climbed Everest. It is like answering a question, why you breathe? Why we are breathing? To keep our body, isn't it? If that breathing is stopped for some time, what is happening? It is left for everywhere, isn't it? Nobody can stop in between. That means you are at the end of your life, isn't it? Why do you help your neighbor? Why do you want to do good acts? There is no final answer. So when we are asking these questions to anybody, we are not getting a perfect answer. Everybody, it is according to their own taste, isn't it? So we are not getting a perfect answer. Suppose a question, why you help your neighbor? What answer you will give? Because I like him also to live like me. So we are helping each other, isn't it? But if you ask somebody, other person, they may have another reason, isn't it? So the reason varies. Reason will be varying, will be different from one person to another. Similarly, here also, why did you take the highest or the mightiest peak for your climbing? Looking back, there is no final answer. And then there is the fact that Everest is not just a physical climb. So it is not an easy climb, just running and reaching on the top. The man who had been to the mountain top becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in the dark universe. So he is becoming very small in that mighty mountain. The physical conquest of the mountain is only one part of his achievement. There is more to it than that. It is followed by a sense of fulfillment that I had done. That is remaining in your soul. There is a satisfaction of a deep urge to rise above one's surrounding. Okay, you think, I had gone to a little higher when compared to the others. It is the eternal love for adventure in man. My love to become an adventurous person. Experience is not merely physical. It is emotional as well as spiritual. Now you understood? Spiritual, emotional. All these feelings has to come together. Consider a typical climb. Just a climb to the mountain towards the summit on the last heights. You are sharing a rope with the other climber. So now saying how the climbing is going on in the Mount Everest. There will not be one person alone, isn't it? There will be a group of members, and one by one will be attached or connected with a rope, and with the help of the hook and the rope, they will be climbing on the top. Understood? So in between, those who are after us or those who are above us can be lying dead also. Still, we have to forget it and then we have to continue. So just for 1 second, if you just see that and that feeling comes in you, are you able to continue? You will not be able to continue. Understood? That is called the willpower to stand any kind of difficulties. He cut the steps in the hard ice. That hook will be thrown and it will be made firm on that snow. Then he beats and you walk up and just you climb with the help of the rock. The climb is grim. You strain every nerve as you take every step because it is fully ice, and in that cold, bitter cold, you are putting your feet and climbing. Famous climbers have left a record of the help given by others. They have also recorded how they needed just the help. Yes, they might have given up. Breathing is difficult. The main problem is as you go higher and higher, the problem creates for breathing. You curse yourself for having let yourself in this way. So in between, you will curse yourself and ask the question, why I had taken this risk, isn't it? Because that time comes over there that you are not able to move further. So when you are not able to move further and when you like to stop it, you ask the question yourself, why you have taken it. You wonder why you ever undertook the ascent. There are moments when you feel like going back. It would be sheer relief to go down instead of climb up, let me go down. But this is also a great risk. There is something in you that does not let you give up then. Struggle and you go on. So then also you will change your mind and you will think, no, I am not going down, I am still going up. Your companion keeps up with you. So who will be helping you? The companion who is coming after you, or who is the one above you. Just about 50 feet or 100 maybe. Only that is the difference between you and your companion. Is there no end? Then also we will think, oh, how much I had to climb. I cannot see the end. You draw inspiration from each other. So each other will say, okay, no problem, you climb, we are reaching. So when that kind of talk is coming, again we are changing our mind and going further. Without first being aware of it, you are on the summit. So without your knowledge itself, where you will reach? You will reach on the highest point. Looking down from the summit, you tell yourself that it was worthwhile. Over silvery peaks appear through the clouds. So you are very near to the clouds. If you are lucky, the sun may be on them. So you can see the bright sun shining over there. Surrounding peaks look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of the summit. So because of the brightness of the sun, the whole mountain looks like wearing jewels shining. Below you see vast valleys sloping into the distance. It is an enriching experience to just look down from the summit of a mountain. You bow down and make your observance to whichever God you worship. There you stand and you fold your hands and say thankful to your whomever you worship. Understood? I left on Everest, so our major, and I left a picture of those people who had climbed over on the top. For their remembrance, they had left certain things over there, symbols. I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. Rawat left a picture of goddesses Durga. He left a relics of the Buddha statue. Edmund Hillary had buried a cross under the snow. These are not symbols of conquest but of reverence. The experience of having climbed to the summit changes you completely. So altogether, in the beginning we had said, you are totally changed after climbing a mountain. You are totally changed. You are another person. There is another summit. It is within yourself. That is that said. You are spiritual. Spiritual means a soul. It is in your own mind. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. So inside our mind is the second mountain, great mountain. When the first physically climbing mount, one we are carrying in ourselves also. That is our mind. Understood? He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. It is fearful and unscapable that it cannot be measured. It cannot be climbed by anyone else. You yourself have to do. So it is your soul, according to you. You yourself has to carry that also along with you, isn't it? That means giving courage inside also, giving confidence inside also. You yourself have to do it. The physical act of climbing to the summit of a mountain outcome akin to the act of climbing the mountain within. So both are equal. One is within and one is outside. One is internal and one is external. The effects of both the climbs are the same. Whenever the mountain you climb in physical or emotional and spiritual, climb will certainly change you. It teaches you much about the world and about yourself. That is a 2 lesson what you study when you climb a summit, teaching yourself who you are. I venture to think that my experience as an Everester have provided me with the inspiration to face life audiences, whatever the problem is coming, to face the life. After all, many sorrows and happiness are filled in your life. So not only happiness, you should be able to overcome your sorrows also. So when happiness and sorrows are equally taken in, then only you are actually enjoying your life in this world. Conquest of the internal summit is equally worthwhile. Internal summit are perhaps higher than Everest. So it is saying that power, the willpower that you have inside, it should be more than what you have done outside. So physically or mentally, what you are prepared for, that is the great thing when compared to a highest mountain climb. Clear to you? The questions. Standing on Everest, the writer was jubilant and sad. The emotion that gripped him was one of victory over hurdles. Hurdles means obstacles or difficulties. The summit of the mind refers to triumph of mind over worldly pressure of noble cause. No process of wandering mentally and spiritually. What are the three qualities? Qualities are endurance, persistence and willpower. Then what is adventure? Then what was it about Mount Everest when the author found Everest pyramid? One does not do it. When does one do it really? He becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in this large universe after climbing on the top. What are the symbols of reverence? Those people had left. That means our author itself had left what? A picture of Guru Nanak, Robert left picture of goddesses, Durga, Furoji, a statue of Buddha, Edmund Hillary, a cross. So all these answers will be sent to you. And before writing the notes, please read your lessons carefully more times.